Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Historical Humans Reacts. And today we've got quite the doozy of an episode. Mysterious medieval city in Africa had a genius system to survive drought. Today's video is brought to you by us. We are bringing you our new project, the Humanitarian Collections, where we are creating clothing lines that will have the profits donated directly to charity. So this month we are supporting the Trevor Project, a anti-suicide LGBT community charity. So any purchase,
Do you want me to say it?
I mean, yeah,
You
you
want
could
me
go
to?
for it.
So the Trevor Project is a nonprofit dedicated to the prevention of suicide within the LGBTQ community. Um, they are dedicated to maintaining mental health and wellness among one of the most endangered populations in the United States. LGBTQ youth are 4 times more likely to attempt suicide than non-LGBTQ youth. So the work they do is something that is truly needed, and we encourage you to check them out. Check out our store. Anything you buy does send profit to them.
And if you want, first-time purchasers can use the discount code HUMANS for an additional 10% off your order. Like we said, the profits will be going to charity, so either way, you're winning, you're helping out, you're helping a great cause. But let's dive right into the great Zimbabwe.
Yep.
How smart were these folk?
I'd say they're pretty smart there, Justin. What do you think, Colin?
Well, the Great Zimbabwe is a major city in South Africa that was home to
Southern
18,000
Africa,
people.
not South Africa. Slight
Southern
difference.
Africa. I've them. That is me screwing my words over here. Sorry about that, everybody. It's in Southern Africa, and it was home to 18,000 people. So it's a massive medieval city, and no one really knows why it was abandoned. And for several hundred years, it has been believed that the city was abandoned due to drought conditions basically rendering the city uninhabitable. Lack of water, no one can live with that. That is not true.
Ooh, dun dun dun. A team of researchers from Denmark, South Africa, England, and Zimbabwe argue that a series of circular depressions known as Dhaka pits found around the city were not actually used for digging up clay, as experts once thought, but actually water retention systems.
Yeah, they are located at the base of a number of hillsides, which would make them an ideal place for collecting rainwater, runoff, and groundwater, as opposed to necessarily being a good place to dig a hole to, essentially mine for clay. Um, there
I'll
are
say,
less landslidey places to do that.
yeah, clay's very useful in the aspect that it essentially captures the water. It creates a barrier between, where soil would absorb the water, whereas clay just kind of holds it.
Yeah. Yeah. And just like, these pits are lined with clay because these pits are in areas that are essentially full of clay. But, you don't necessarily want to dig your hole at the bottom of a hill. That's how landslides happen. Unless that hole is for water,
Well,
in
and
which
one of the
case,
reasons they were able to prove that it was for water is the remains of a number of plants that survive in high moisture environments, usually near rivers or groundwater sources. And the cool thing, and we've talked about this before, is one of the ways that they were actually able to figure things out is because of oh god, of basically mapping and lidar. It looks like.
yeah, this is a
Yay,
GIS.
LiDAR!
This is a GIS elevation map they have mapping out the main structures on top of topography.
Yeah, but they
Um,
did say they used airborne laser scanning, which usually is lidar.
yeah, that's lidar. Yeah, all lidar is GIS.
Yes.
um, because it is because that is what it is. Yeah, it's a part there. You can see the river water on the lower right, sort of that valley for water coming in, and then the site over there. What I think is important to emphasize as we're looking at these image is we said it's a city of 18,000 people, but that doesn't necessarily give a scale of how big it is. 18,000 is nothing today. The water retention, assuming that these pits were in fact used for water retention, which we now believe they were, they held 18 million liters.
Oh, wowee. That's
These
a lot.
pits would have held 18 million liters. And these are just the ones that we know about because Great Zimbabwe, it's been in ruins for over half a millennia. Not everything has survived. Yeah.
What's kind of interesting too is they also talk about the dichotomy of the seasons. So they say that during the rainy season, when the cities would become wet and marshy, these locations would have been perfect for mining clay to build the houses. But then when it becomes drier, those same quarries were used to turn into reservoirs to collect groundwater and runoff. So they basically found a dual use system that helped the cities thrive.
Yep. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I mean,
you can almost see, like, from what it's saying, like the dakas, the black lines around the hill complex, the dakas I think are lining those, almost like they're being buffed up against retention walls. It looks like, so that way the dirt doesn't come in with the water running down the hill.
I mean, it's just another example of human ingenuity changing the landscape to fit their needs and to survive and thrive even.
And who would have thought? And I mean, Great Zimbabwe too, like you said, even though it was what 20,000, it still held um,
Yep.
a significant
Yeah.
home. I mean, it was inhabited for about 400 years during its heyday, and it was home to ruling elites, religious leaders, craftsmen, merchants, and they would all need to use this water, so it needed to support the population.
Yep, 18,000 people, 18 million liters of water. And the climate was not necessarily one that was particularly friendly to human civilization at the time. During the time of Great Zimbabwe, there was what is known as the Little Ice Age, which would have put the water resources available to basically any city on Earth under stress.
Yeah, it was usually a pretty big time of population retractions.
Yeah,
To put
unless
it
you're
nicely.
Venice, when you're building your city entirely on water, in which case it was a perfect time.
For Venice,
Let
it was the
water
best of
good.
times. For Great Zimbabwe, it was the worst of times.
Oh man. And on that terrible, terrible gondola ride, we're gonna end today's episode. Thank you guys for watching. Please again check out the Humanitarian Collection. We'll have the link listed in the description below. It's for a great cause. It helps out a lot of great youths. And yeah, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.